Michelle, can you everybody see our days? Just say yes. Can you guys all see that? Yeah. Good. They're all nodding. You know, Thai style. Nodding.
Wonderful. So thank you so much, Shu and InvestIN, for having me here. It's Saturday morning here in the UK, and it is very cold. So hopefully you're enjoying some warmer climates for us. As Shu just introduced kindly, my name is Des Kutchi. I'm the International Development Lead at UCAS. I've been at UCAS around 3 years, but I've worked in international recruitment and admissions for about 10, so a slight while longer. Probably over the next 25 minutes or so, I'm going to take you through a bit of a 101 around UCAS for those of you who aren't familiar, give you an update on what's happening in the cycle and the processes to take, the support available, and then we'll move on to some trends that's happening in market, if that sounds like a plan. So I can see Shu's wonderful face on my screen, but I can't see you all, so any questions, please channel through that way. We'll leave some time at the end for some Q&A. First, have a little tickle, so I'm just going to take a sip of coffee. That will keep me awake for the next half an hour. Great. So hopefully my screen will change soon. Should give me a nod if my screen slides move. Perfect. So who is UCAS? So UCAS stands for the Universities and Colleges Admission Service, and we effectively act as the UK's shared and centralised admission system. We work with over 380 different universities and colleges and provide the way into undergraduate course entry for students from all over the world. We operate as an independent, not-for-profit charity. So we aren't part of the UK government, nor are we a private business. We operate on our own initiative, and any money generated through those application fees that I think Shu has just let me know some of you have paid recently to make your UCAS applications get funneled back into the charity to enable our future development. Each year, we support about 1.5 million students through the discovery journey of UK higher education, whether that is degree programmes, whether it's apprenticeships, or whether it's alternative routes. And from that, around 3 million applications are made through UCAS each year by about 750,000 individuals. As you know, most of you will make 4 or 5 choices within that. But out of that, about 140,000 individuals are domiciled outside of the UK, which makes us the #1 channel into UK higher education studies at that undergraduate level, including every year students from Thailand. And I will share some information with you about some data trends that we're seeing on that front later on in the slides. Hopefully you all know a little bit about UCAS, and hopefully now you know a little bit more. So UCAS runs on a cycle. And what we gear up towards is the September entry of the following year, which for this intake will be September 2024. The cycle actually opens 18 months beforehand, and from May 2023, you're able to create a UCAS Hub account, start searching, favoriting courses, having a look around at what your options are before we opened for applications. The deadline that has most recently passed in
waffle. Just a second, internet waffle. Let's wait for a bit because it's early time in UK. We are talking about UK 11 a.m. for British to log in. Not early, but definitely British don't work on Saturday, so as you know. Yeah, oh, he's logging off, just a second. Okay. So basically, today we're gonna talk about the UCAS. And the UCAS date, he's actually, as you can see, he's an international director. He's basically going to talk to you about how students apply for the UCAS. And most importantly is that what's the data? What does a Thai student normally study in the UK? What subject they normally study? What's the trend? Because you guys is about to present in a very impressive report, approximately by second week of December, and that way you can know how many Thai students were applying for which program. And most importantly is that Days is also going to talk about how the UCAS is now being reformed, because as I mentioned, UCAS reform is the references later. They are about to reform the personal statement as well, but it's more about, it's better to come in from UCAS people to explain to you all. And of course, if you have any questions, you can definitely all ask in Days, and feel free to ask in questions, basically. Let me now try to check whether that Days will be able to join in. So may I ask you, what is your daughter, when is the year she's going to apply for university? What year you're going to apply for university? Which year? 2025 you're going to enter university, or 2026 you're going to enter university? 2026. Okay, you are right straight. You'll be able to now prepare 3 years in advance, because you later on Days will explain to you about UCAS actually able to be on the system already, trying to add in more details 3 years ago. May I asking you, you are interested in engineer, so what year would you join the university?
Right now I'm just like 14, so
Count. About 2 years, you want to join university? 2030. Okay, good preparation. I mean, 2030. Okay, good. Okay, let me just check whether like Days really join in, but at the same time, do you have any question about UCAS? Do you guys understand what is UCAS? If after he just say, okay, in UK, if you want to apply for university, there's no choices, but you need to apply through UCAS. UCAS is different to Thailand system. What UCAS did is that if you get your UCAS basically say you are students, you want to apply for UK university. UK university say, okay, you have to go apply through UCAS. And under UCAS, you only have 5 choices, 5 university choices you can put it up. And then you cannot get your grade. You can't get your A-level result before you submit your application. So when you are submitting UCAS application, you are giving the UCAS system and the future university your predicting grade. So therefore, you got to prepare, you make sure your day-to-day examination, day-to-day assignment is good, so your teacher give you a good predicting grade. So on the predicting grade, normally UCAS, you enter predicting grade, you study at, for example, King's International, you study at Harlow, for example, or you study in any kind of international school, and then you put down, say, my A-level math is predicting grade going to be A star, my A-level physics predicting grade is going to be B, my A-level biology predicting grade is going to be A star. Okay, so later on, you look at the university. So while we're waiting for that, generally, normally I suggesting students, which university you want to go for dentist? May I asking you? Birmingham or Thailand? I'm going to talk about engineer. I'm going to talk about my own school. Let me do this. Let's do the engineer. Let's have a look. School of engineer. Yeah. So while we're waiting for Days, Days is joining in. I'll let them do one by one. She's logging in again. Is it my side or his side? Hello, Days.
I'm back. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Now I see you also changing the room.
I've changed room just so I could get some better Wi-Fi ship. I wasn't sure if it was my Wi-Fi.
Oh, I wasn't sure.
If it was Zoom. So my Zoom restarted and then started doing an update. Wonderful timing. So
It's
I
okay.
thought you'd had enough. I thought the parents and students had decided that they didn't want to hear any more about UCAS.
No. Actually, they are preparing. One is supposed to join in 2026. One is actually supposed to join in 2030, and they're all excited because they're all medical, targeting basically. I'm gonna make you as a co-host, and so that way you can share the screen and you can start picking up where you just left.
Perfect.
Basically.
Yeah. I'm gonna guess where we were. So if I share my screen.
Cool.
Give me a nod when you have me.
Easy, man. Okay,
Oh,
good.
I know. That is shows the chaos of my organization. But can you see the key dates and entry slides?
Yes, we can see the key thing.
Wonderful. So I was just talking about how the 16th of October deadline, for those of you who have applied to programs in medicine, veterinary science, dentistry and Oxbridge, would have passed, and we're all gearing up towards ECD, Equal Consideration deadline, which usually happens on the last Wednesday in January, which just so happens this year to be the very last day of January, so the most time anyone will ever have to get those remaining applications in. But this is an important date in the cycle, because this is by when most universities will guarantee equal consideration amongst all applications received for entry into their 2024 programs. A few things just to touch upon which you may not have heard about previously, but we have a scheme called UCAS Extra, which opens on the 28th of February. Extra effectively looks for people who doesn't have any offers for the coming cycle, and within that what they're able to do is add on one by one additional choices, which effectively allows them to look at plans A, B, C, D in the first instance, then add E and F if those other options don't work out. The last date for applications before clearing opens next year is the 30th of June, the last day in June. That's the last day to get your applications into the main UCAS undergraduate scheme system. But don't worry if you haven't made applications by that point. What you would do is you will make an entry directly into what we call clearing. And clearing has a longer name. It's called confirmation and clearing. But effectively what confirmation and clearing does, it gives students the options to look at alternatives based on what grades that they know they have, what they're gearing up for, and what offers that they have received back into that. That runs up until around mid-October 2024. So it doesn't just end in for the September intake. Actually, we have recently only just shut clearing and shut the cycle for the coming year. But what this means is that there isn't just one UCAS for people to be able to apply to UK higher education to. There's actually multiple schemes in there, all aimed at helping you, and of course I'm sure there's a room full of parents as well, but helping you help your children make best fit decisions over their higher education options in there. Just a few key application facts. So the ECD is when we say that if you want equal consideration date depending on your programs, that's the last date to make your applications. I know a few of you have already made early applications by the mid-October deadline into medicine and dentistry. For all those of us, it is the 31st of January. And what you are able to do is to make up to 5 choices within that, unless you're applying to study medicine, veterinary science, dentistry, and then it's 4 choices. As I said earlier, you can only apply to either Oxford or Cambridge. You can't apply to both, and that's a question I frequently get asked. Why can't I make 2 choices? And actually that is a rule set by Oxford University and Cambridge University themselves, which say that actually their style of learning and teaching is very different, and actually you can't be a suitable candidate for both institutions. So you're either an Oxford style or you're a Cambridge style. And within doing that, both of those are world-leading institutions. What they make sure is that the students and applicants applying to them really want to come to them. The application fee costs £27.50. And just a little bit of reassurance that when you make your choices, whether it's the 4 or 5, universities and colleges can't see your other choices. So sometimes people worry when making their decisions over those 4, if they're applying to a university nearby or down the road, that the university that they really want to go to will see who else they have applied to, and that will some way disadvantage them. That's a myth. No one else can see it other than yourselves, probably your parents and the school that you are linked to within there as well. And the whole journey starts with research. So most of you hopefully have seen the UCAS Hub. If you haven't, it's a really great resource, particularly for future generations, where you're able to explore a huge number of subjects. I think there's in total now around 35,000 different course options for you to search through, find, favorite, save. One of the things that we always say, a solid application is built on a strong foundation of research. So knowing exactly what you're going to study, knowing the modules you're going to take, making sure that that is 1, what you're interested in, and 2, links to your strengths. is really important. We also have recently embedded some peer-to-peer connections software within the UCAS hub. So we use a scheme called Unibuddy, which effectively connects students all over the world with counterparts who are ambassadors studying in other universities. We always know that word of mouth referrals are very important, and looking at experience others have had is vital. So always great to check, and there are many Thai students on there who you're able to contact and have an understanding about how they are finding, I don't know, the food, the weather, all other sorts of factors of life, as well as the academic side as well, to give you a little bit of confidence before making those applications in there. And we've got loads of fun quizzes too, so whilst they might just seem fun, actually they're really useful for people who aren't really sure what they're able to do. And then, of course, your application all starts from within the UCAS hub as well. The application itself, as I mentioned, registration, really easy to do. And then through a process of completing separate segments on there, what happens is you build up an incremental profile which will give you a percentage of completion score of your UCAS application before you can get that all-important submit button. If you are connected to a school or a college, what happens then is once you press submit on your application, it goes to your school if they're a UCAS registered centre in order to review, add predicted grades, and add a reference. Once they submit, that data then feeds into UCAS, and UCAS transmits that out to those universities and colleges in the UK that you have made as part of your options. They then get some time, and normally this possibly can take up until the end of March in order to make effective admissions decisions, and that is because there are two kind of waves that universities receive batches of applications in. It's for that mid-October deadline and it's for that late January deadline, and universities and colleges make their own decisions. UCAS doesn't make any decisions over your application, so you don't need to impress UCAS ourselves. We aren't sat there with yes and no markers deciding over your futures. Actually, each university makes their own decision over that. And that can sometimes take a couple of weeks, which we know is slightly unnerving, where you wait a little bit over your future, but they will look at your whole range of your application criteria based on your predicted grades, your references, your personal statement, that will come onto them and decide if they feel that you are a right fit candidate for them, and equally that you are going to be successful if you study on that course at that university. In doing so, what will likely happen at the end of that is you will get what's called a conditional offer, where you will be either made an offer which outlines the criteria you need to tick, largely linked to ensuring that you have the grades that you have said you are predicted in order to get admission. You have English language proficiency proof if you haven't already got that ticked somewhere else, as well as a couple of other administrative issues which all effectively enable a university to sponsor your student visa to come to study with us. Other option within there is that you get a rejection, which, even though it sounds terrible, actually sometimes these rejections are really useful because it enables us to look at what went wrong, what maybe that course wasn't right for us, maybe actually looking into it we wouldn't have been suitable candidates. But out of those options, you may get a couple of rejections, a couple of offers, you may get a whole suite of offers. If you get nothing, that is why UCAS Extra and Clearing both exist, to give you alternative routes into that. I mentioned a few of the tools that we have, and lots of these are linked to the academia and the academic side of studying overseas. So you can see that it's linked by course subject group, universities and colleges, profiles, but equally we understand that moving across the world to the UK is a lifestyle change for you, and actually, as well as the studying, you need to live somewhere, so you can explore cities, explore different types of locations, student accommodation, all of those sorts of things through UCAS Hub as well, because we know you want to study, you want to be great students, but equally you want to make the most of your study abroad experience. And those of you that are here today are listening to InvestIN about the range of experience and opportunities that they provide to you before you come, in order to build up that important experience to add on your application. If any of you are advisors in the room or you are linked to registered centres and schools, what we do is provide tools for those who support you as well, including bespoke advisor live sessions to help people understand from expert speakers the different factors of studying in the UK. We do these for students and parents as well on a monthly basis. We call them Hub Live events. If you have signed up to any UCAS comms, you will receive invites for those. These can range from anything, like I said, on accommodation or cost of living or student life or sports and societies, all the way through to what does pre and post arrival look for you, as well as different areas of the website to support everyone involved in those different stages of the journey. And we produce annually what we call a cycle toolkit for advisors, which hopefully if any of you are connected to our school registered centres, you will have seen some of these presentation decks before. If there are any parents in the room, there's some really helpful parents guides embedded into this as well, because we know actually sending your son, daughter overseas on a study abroad mission is life-changing for them, but also for you as well. So having a clear understanding of what that journey looks like and what to expect is vital. I said I'd give you some data, insights and trends as well. So this first set of slides shows the most popular courses for international students applying to the UK. So these are students from outside of the UK applying to study and what disciplines that they are looking at. And I filtered it by total non-UK, so total international students. And you can see the number one applied for by probably 300% is business and management programs. The important thing to remember, and I know that there's lots of future medicine or subjects allied to medicine students in the room, that some of these courses actually have caps, particularly anything in medicine, dentistry and veterinary science have caps, so they will never be the number one admitted course program just because they are highly competitive. So making sure that you're able to demonstrate that you're able to thrive in a competitive environment, all important within there. And then I wanted to show you some application trends from Thailand, just to give you a little bit of information around what that looks like. So I've branched this by each of the years over the past 4 years, where we have data in the dark black boxes, so 2019 through to 22. Ignore the green box with the red numbers in. I will explain what those mean at the end. But the top row looks at undergraduate applicants from Thailand applying through UCAS to undergraduate courses in the UK. And as you can see, in 2019, in a world pre-COVID-19, there were just over 1,000 applicants, which dropped over what we call the pandemic years, with last year's entry, the 2022 intake, seeing a bit of a bump of that because of pent-up demand. Accepted means those who received offers. So they applied, the accepted are the ones who got offers back and confirmed their places to study in the UK. And part of that is because they got through that competitive application side. Equally, what they did within there is that they also met the criteria that was outlined on their conditional offer to confirm their place. And you can see that that then drops to 645 through to last year's bump year of 695. Whilst those numbers are interesting, I think the context and the proportion of accepted applicants is probably what's quite important here. And this is the proportion of people who apply who get accepted. And you can see in 2019 that stood at around 62%. So 62% of Thai applicants confirmed places in the UK. Over the pandemic years, that dropped to 61 and 60% actually last year, despite being more applicants than ever, more interest than ever. That proportion of accepted applicants dropped to 57%, 57.5%. And I think that shows us a number of things. One, it's the acceptance rate decline has been moving closer to the international average. So international students as a whole, on average, get about 54% acceptance rate, just over half. So Thai acceptance is higher than that, which is great because I think that speaks wonderful things for the quality of applicants and the quality of experience that Thai students bring that is sought by UK higher education providers, where they really want Thai students. But because of that decline, potentially because of the COVID-19 impact or the increased competition are the drivers of that. As you can see, in that box at the end, the green box with the red writing, the 2023, that is because we haven't released the 23 intake data just yet. We're actually about 2 weeks away from releasing that official data, but I didn't want to kind of leave a year gap in there. So I've used a few different numbers in this to share with you what I'm able to. So the number of applicants, that 1,090 applicants, is based on our June 30th deadline. These are all the Thai students who applied by June 30th last year in order to get entry into September 2023. The accepted via UCAS I took from our day 28 confirmation and clearing data. So both of these aren't end of cycle. So these numbers are subject to change, but do once again give an indicator that actually there is strong interest from Thailand, but the acceptance rate once again is sitting like it's going to be below 60% at 57.8%. And once again, I think that speaks to the competitive nature of UK higher education. There's no such thing as a not busy admissions team in the UK looking at the applications from students all over the seas. So what I think it's important to do is to really put your best foot forward with your application, really make the most of those opportunities to shine in your application form, seek that all-important admissions, work really hard, get the grades, and then hopefully when we show 2024 numbers, in which some of you should hopefully be included in, we see some bumps in that as well. So I think the competition element is a problem that is being faced, or a challenge that is being faced the world over. So it's really about maximising those opportunities to stand out on your application and really show to UK higher education providers, hey, I will be a great asset to your institution. You need to give me a place. So I think I've nailed it to about 25 minutes. So hopefully, even with a slight tech issue, we've come to a point where we may have an opportunity to answer a few questions.
Okay, cool. I'll ask them. Any questions? Medical questions? Are you sure? Are you sure? And then later on, you ask me another question. Puya, come on with one question.
When you mentioned about the application in Thailand, is it mean from all the students in Thailand or all the students with Thai nationality?
Thai nationality, right? This is a Thai nationality passport, right? When the data.
This one, domicile.
Domicile. Okay, definitely.
Yes. So I purposely put domicile for this.
Okay.
So, for example, if you were a Thai national but you're already in the UK, you wouldn't count in these figures. So this is based on domicile.
Okay, cool. Any question?
Good question.
Yeah, yes, of course, it's a good question. I have a question. How many, out of the proportion of applicants accepted by Thai, what kind of subject are they really doing?
A little bit of a mix. I think business and management is the highest proportion. I think medicine and subjects allied to medicine probably make up the second. And I think the third is anything linked to PPE. Anything within those areas tend to be the accepted ones. One, because I think that speaks to the demand, but also the profile of Thai students coming through tend to focus in those areas. But I think business and management, which wraps in even things like economics and business analytics, it's quite a broad term in there, but I still think that is number one. One thing that isn't on here, because we don't share it as part of our traditional statistics, but many Thai students seek admission into London institutions or within an hour of London institutions. So one thing we always encourage people to do is when they're looking at their options, actually, the UK isn't enormous, and within that there is lots of geographical diversity of types of higher education providers, particularly those seeking campus feels rather than building feels. So looking outside of London is something we always encourage people to do, because the vast majority of applicants are applying to London or within 1 hour of London, but the UK has a huge amount to offer outside of that as well, particularly in some of those really competitive programs on medicine, for example.
Cool, no problem. I'm helping you because we're actually about to demo the medicine for them. So
Okay.
Yeah, but really thank you so much. Yeah, thank you.
Well, thank you, Shu. Thank you, InvestIN, and thank you everybody for your time. Hopefully you have a great event for the rest of this. So
Thank you. Take care. Bye.
Take care.
Thank you. Bye. All right, cool. Yes, then. Do you guys want to demo lesson for you for the medicine? Up to you, or do you want just asking questions? Oh, okay. Doesn't know.
It's better for there to make decision with the class for my daughter.
Yeah, so choosing between medicine and dentistry. What do you like about this?
Yeah, get to help people. That's a really good reason. No, it is though. It's a really, really good reason to go into medicine or dentistry because fundamentally that's what's going to come up in your interviews. They're going to ask you, what kind of a person you are. Lots of people say because of the money. There's quicker ways to make money than medicine. So wanting to help people is definitely a good reason. I guess the big difference is they're both very long courses, so you're prepared to study for a long time. Is there like an area of medicine or an area of dentistry that you really like? Yeah. Stressful. It depends, I guess. So cardiology, for example, if you're working as a cardiologist, it's probably quite stressful. You're going to have to deal with a lot of intensive cares, heart attacks, heart failures, things like that. But if you're also interested in neurology, you might be interested in looking at radiology. Have you considered that? Which is the graphs. So when you go to hospital and they send you off for an ECG, for example, or an MRI, a radiologist would look at that data, look at those graphs, look at your x-rays and interpret that to give the results to the doctor. So that's a really popular area of medicine that might tie in nicely if you're interested in dentistry too.
You're dealing with life and death situations is much higher.
Much higher.
Than if you deal with dentistry. So that's something that's not always the case. Like, in a situation which you wouldn't be with life and death, the seriousness of the complications or the disease or the thing that you're dealing with your patient is going to be far higher than typically find dentistry. So that's just something to think about in terms of your personality, how you would feel in that situation. Like, would you feel upset by that or scared by that? Or actually, do you see that as like more of a challenge? Or, you're talking about wanting to help people, you're more likely to be saving lives in medicine than you would in dentistry. So that's, yeah.
And the other thing on that point is, it sounds basic, but things like lifestyle and your working hours. If you're working as a dentist, you're much more likely to have a 9-to-5 job. You might be based in one clinic. You don't have to travel very often. You can work in a dental hospital, which is a bit more fast-paced, but it's much more likely you'll have like a steady, stable job. Whereas in medicine, even if you do end up being a GP, you still have to go through so many years of training where you're working night shifts. You're working in intensive care, in like very, yeah.
If doctors stayed in their specialties and became, what they really want to do is become the best in the country or the best in the hospital, their specialty, be it pediatrics, be it cardiology, whatever. With my dentist friends, a lot of them are setting up their own dental clinics, dental businesses, and so. Weirdly enough, I don't know if this matters to you, but so far the dentist friends are getting wealthier than the doctor friends.
Yeah.
Yeah. Something to think about.
I would say that's the case.
Yeah,
definitely. And you want to study in Thailand, right? Yeah, so not in the UK. Because in the UK we have the NHS versus private, but that might not be as applicable here. But I definitely agree with Shamir on that. I think there's probably more money quicker in dentistry than in medicine. But it's like you say, if you're looking to help people. What I would recommend doing is do you know what universities you're interested in Thailand? Yeah, and have you had a look at their websites for their like entry requirements? Because they'll be slightly different. What I would look at is the type of courses. So if you look at medicine and you look at dentistry, some are going to be more hands-on learning, some will be more like lectures, tutorials, a lot more theory. So that might help you make a decision too as to whether, are you a bit more practical or more, do you prefer the academic side? Do you know?
Do you want to just sit down and listen, or do you want to do a lot
Get
of
hands in, hands-on.
Medical
So I would check that as well, because if there's a university you want to go to that isn't really offering that in one or the other, that might impact your decision too. But I mean, the best thing I can recommend is if you can get experience. That's the reason that we put these programs on, is to show you what it's like, and then you can decide. So maybe if you came on the doctor experience and you might go, oh, that's not for me, I don't like medicine, but at least you've not wasted a load of money on, 6-7 years of medical training. And the other option that you can think about is you don't have to go straight into a medical or a dentist degree. Like both of them, you'll come out as technically as a doctor. So you could do perhaps like biomedical sciences beforehand. That's something that's quite common. And then do a postgraduate medicine or dental degree. Does that make sense? Yeah, that's a lot of information. Sorry, is that helpful? Yeah.
Our business insurance in Thailand, there's a lot of universities that actually do 1 year, 2 years medical degree, like Northern University or any other university. This is a joint degree by the program. Look into those medical ones. They'll give you some aspects as well. Or if you really don't know, join 1 week for medicine for the first week, for 8th of July for medicine, and then join the 29th of July for 2 weeks dentist. That way, yeah, you can really test it out whether you really like it. And you encourage your dad and mom to travel to UK, and they have 5 weeks. If you say so. Yeah. Yeah. So do your medicine here, and then you do your tests. Yeah. So that way you can try medicine for 1 week or 2 weeks, or you try the vet for dentist for 1 week or 2 weeks. That way you'll be able to know, do you want to face teeth or do you want to deal with human life? Basically, both are important. And then in between there's 1 week break. You can ask your mom and dad bring you to France or any other countries. Yeah, come back. Like our lessons. As you can see, the day is like very nuts. So the day will be, you finish on 20th of July. Your dad and mom bring you for fun. You don't have fun. You have to let your daughter have fun. So they have fun from 20th of July to 20. So you have fun from 20th of July, and then until 27th of July and 28th of July, you'll be able to drop your daughter back to the school. And then so she can experience both and to really find out what passion she's going for if she has no idea for that side. Try it yourself. Yeah, try it, avoiding you to go into either 7 years in UK, 7 years general doctor training, or the dentist, basically. And I'm pretty sure your dad and your mom will like, yeah, shopping for like 1 week. Yeah. So this is a nice combo. So you do medicine here, and then you do the dentist here. Yeah. Good. Okay. Priya, see? Yeah, combination. Let me show you the schedule.
So for example, there's like groups of people doing 1 week and 2 weeks, right?
Yeah.
Are they gonna learn in the same?
Yeah, so how it works is you can pick 1 week, just 1 week, or 2 weeks. And in the first week, that's a lot of the foundations of the career. So you find out what it's like, you learn all of like the core things that you need to know career coaching, a bit of networking. And then the second week is there's more site visits. So on the medical one, that's when we go to the training hospital, for example. So there's more visits to different places. There's more networking. You get an assessment centre. So it's like a complementary thing. You learn even more, you get to apply your knowledge, you do even more exciting things. So for the first week, you'll have more students as well. And then for the second week, half of the students might leave, or like 30% of the students might finish.
It's mostly the ones who come from the UK.
Yeah.
For 1 week.
Because they live nearby.
Everyone who flies in 2 weeks. So because we work with 1,000 schools in the UK. We started.
Yeah, and it's quite nice sometimes because the second week you can get, we split everybody up into small groups. So there might be 100 students on the programme, but you'll do your activities in a group of like 8 to 10. And then when we get to the second half, some of the UK students have left and we have some smaller groups. So you get that extra. Yeah, they always want to stay for longer. Oh, there's always some tears on the last day.
Or is it just second week?
So you still do get like a site visit in the first week, but there's more in the second week, is the main difference. So you'll be in and around UCL, you'll still go to like different relevant buildings, but there's just some more.
Second is just more practical.
Yeah.
Basic before you can start.
Yeah, but for example, again, I'm talking about medicine because I run the medical programme, but we go to the Royal College of General Practitioners on day 3. So that's a site visit. It's still quite nearby, but that's where, that's the hub for GPs basically. And we use their exam suite to do patient consultations. So that's where you get to actually, talk to real patients and you lead that conversation and find out what their presenting complaint is. So that's an example of a site visit in week 1, and then the hospital's in week 2. But I would recommend if you're flying over, 2 weeks makes the most sense, just to get enough time out of it.
You think about it, as a parent, 4 weeks of the kids' time, help them to decide, is it doctor or is it dentist? Yeah, it's a good investment as well. So I'm gonna...
career, the future, but yes, for sure. The time between.
Yeah.
Before university, there should be the best way.
Yeah.
But, she said that she like chemistry, she like biology, material, mathematics. But, yeah, doctor is the best. Once, sometimes 6 months later, they change. No. Better.
Yeah.
No, again.
Yeah.
So why we find some solution to ensure that my kids they are this is their life.
Yeah. You want to be confident about that decision.
So this grant or this opportunity for you to give back.
Well, they love you a lot.
Can make a decision.
Yeah. That's the hope. And also, so we work with the experts and they all have different experiences. So that's something that I really like, is all the doctors I work with, all the dentists we work with, they have different things that they like about it. So if you ask them, why should I pick dentistry or why should I pick medicine, they'll all have different reasons and you might relate to one more than the other. I find that's quite helpful to talk to people who've been through it themselves, because sometimes they'll turn around and say, oh, I wish I'd done this instead, so I'm going to switch training. But then because you've been able to ask them before.
The idea is to 2 weeks, day 1 to day 10, you realize how many things I like, how many days I like in dentistry, how many things I dislike in dentistry. You have your own seesaw. And then you also, for the doctors, you have how many days you like as a medicine doctor, how many days you dislike as a medicine doctor. And you start to think about, having your own a little judgment. I'll show you a quick a video so you can have a look about what dentists do.
Oh, it's not on the screen too.
Oh, it's not on the screen? Is it not on the screen? Still not? Oh, okay. I'm going to like double check what is a duplicate.
Oh, still not there.
Still not there. Is it not? 可能 technical guy. Can I ask for your help?
Are you studying chemistry and biology at the minute? Yeah,
Is it
which
not?
year are you in?
Okay, good.
Year 10. Oh, okay, nice. So for GCSE. Cool. Sorry, Al.
Okay.
Very, very organized, really to maintain
And that's often a lot.
Get this practice, and that was real.
You will see a lot of banana around.
The bananas, we teach you how to suture, to stitch up a wound. But we found the best thing to fake skin is a banana. So you slice it open and then stitch it back up again. But it's a really good way to practice. I know doctors do it.
I'll say if you're a very soggy banana, you know you have to practice on your handcraft skill. This is a doctor.
Walking away with that real understanding is so useful for applying to medical school.
This is a once-in-a-lifetime experience. You won't find much practical stuff like this.
So you're gonna have fun for 4 weeks. Different stuff. That's the best longest summer. And then your dad and mom can join in, and then 1 week bring you to travel around, go to France and come back as well. All right. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Oh, thank you.